Hey guys, so for today's video, I'm going to be showing you everything that is in my must-have, or what I like to call my life palette. It is this Z palette right here, which has all my absolute must-haves, eyeshadows, blushes, and then kind of highlight and contour shades. They're the ones that are not like in my other separate highlight contour palettes. But for the most part, this is like if I'm ever traveling, if I'm going anywhere, knowing that I have to do my makeup, I like need to have this with me. If I have this, I'm okay if I forget like an eyeshadow palette, if I forget something else. I know I reference this a lot when I'm on Snapchat. I'm like, oh, I'm just going to my life palette. But this is it. I'm gonna be showing you guys, a lot of you guys have been requesting that I talk about everything that's in here. So I'm gonna go really in depth, do a lot of swatches, and tell you why all of this stuff is my must have. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. I'm gonna start with eyeshadow swatches because that is like the most fun. So I'm gonna put some primer on the back of my hand. This is the Benefit Air Patrol primer, which is actually really good. It kind of reminds me of the soft ochre paint pot, but not as like dry. So I'm just gonna be putting some of this on the back of my hand. Oh, by the way, I like to do these from light to dark, as you can see here, because sometimes like the dark shadows break easier. I don't know why that is, but I feel like they just crack and shatter more easily. And then a lot of fallout will get into like the lighter colors, compromising the integrity of the lighter colors. So when you go to put it on, you got like a streak of dark brown in there, and that is not cool. That's actually happened to me with like blushes. I do need to move this highlight color needs to get away from this brown eyeshadow, you know what I mean? It's bad news bears. So the first shade that I have in here is MAC Blanc Type. As you can tell, I have hit pan on this color, but I really, really like this color. It's one of the best light, bright, creamy white kind of shades. And here's what it looks like, just the swatch. You can tell it just swatches really, really well. So here is a heavy swatch of Blanc Type from MAC. I am gonna zoom in. This one is so pretty on the lid. It really helps to brighten and open up your eyes a lot. And this one has a matte finish, and this one is not white, which I think is important to say. It's a creamy, it has like a creamy cream undertone to it. It's not bright white, which is one of the reasons why I like it, because bright white is a little bit too harsh. All right, next color I have in here is Peach Smoothie from Makeup Geek. Most of you guys already know about this shade. This is definitely a must-have. ABH has a orange soda color that is really, really similar, but I actually prefer the color payoff and formula of this shade better from Makeup Geek. So Peach Smoothie, this one's a really great upward transition color to use in the, like right above the crease, but I actually like to use this color to pack on the lid also if I don't want to use something as bright as Blanc Type from MAC. Here's what this one looks like on my finger. You can tell it's not like, it doesn't look really orange, obviously, but it just has such a pretty tint. So there is Peach Smoothie. Kind of blends in with my skin a little bit more than the other one. Baby hair's popping. Okay, the next shade I have in here is, okay, this one might actually be my favorite. This is Fawn from Anastasia Beverly Hills. I have not found another shade that is really similar to this one. This one is the perfect color for, it's just like the perfect medium neutral brown shade. There's not really a day that goes by anymore that I don't use this color. It's just perfect. It goes really well with my skin tone. I like the fact that it's not too yellow, it's not too warm. It's just the perfect nooch. Next shade that I have in here is Sienna. This one is also from Anastasia Beverly Hills. By the way, all of the shadows I have in here are either Makeup Geek or Anastasia Beverly Hills. Those are like my two favorite formulas of eyeshadows. Obviously, one of them is a high-end brand with a high-end price point, and then the other one is a really affordable option. I just like to mix and match, if you know what I mean. You guys probably heard about this so many times. So many people love using this eyeshadow color. It is one of the best, like really rich kind of earthy red shades without being like I always think of like Crayola red, where it like looks too red and then it looks chalky and it kind of turns out pink on your skin. This one's just the perfect color, and it just swatches really nicely. It blends really nicely. It's not too dark, it's not too light. It's just kind of the perfect, really warm in-between shade. Shadow is giving it to me. Loving it. This one is also a matte finish shadow. All right, next shade I have in here is Americano from Makeup Geek. This one in the top right corner. This one, as you can tell, compared to a lot of the other reddish warm browns in here. It has a lot more like burgundy or maroonish purple in it. This one also has a really nice smooth creamy finish to it. Also another matte shade, a lot darker than Sienna. So this is not really something that I would use heavily in transition. This is more of like a deepening kind of crease color. Also really pretty on the lower lash line. Oh, wow. Whoa. Whoa, do you see that? Let's keep it moving here. So we have the next, we're going into row 2 here. Column 2. Is this column 2? No, this is row 2, column 1. All right, the first shade that I have here is Creme Brulee from Makeup Geek. How do I describe this color? This one is like if Peach Smoothie was a little bit darker, a little less peachy, a little more neutrally. It's a lot lighter than Fawn, but it's like the perfect shade lighter than that. So if you want to use something for a nice transition color, transition. And this one also applies really nicely, just like all the Makeup Geek shadows do. This one, you can tell it literally like blends into my finger because it's like, it blends in with my skin tone. But I love this color. I think that's why I love it. It's kind of like a good, almost like invisible shade for me to use. Okay, the next couple shades I have in here are more of like a bright, shimmery, holiday, in your face kind of lid color. The first one is one of the foiled shadows from Makeup Geek, and this one is called Magic Act. But this one is so pretty, just like all of the Makeup Geek foiled shadows. You can see the pigmentation, and that is insane. So if you want like a really bright pop of color or gold on your lid, this is definitely the way to go. These don't even really need like a base. They're so creamy and buttery on their own. So let me show you the swatcheroo on this one. Woo! Looking like a bag of money right there, huh? Should I hit him with a flash? All right, that's enough. That's enough of that. All right, the next color I have in here looks really similar to Magic Act, but I swear it's a little bit different. It's a little bit more peach. This one is called Peach Sorbet. Yeah, Peach Sorbet. This one's from Anastasia. Love this color on the lid. You know, I was thinking like when I first got it, a lot of the times like shimmer or metallic finish eyeshadows, unless it was like a Makeup Geek foiled shadow or like a ColourPop shadow, didn't really work on my lid. I felt like it just didn't show up like it was supposed to. But this one though, there's brown eyeshadow debris in there. I can see it. Do you see it? I can see it. You're probably gonna think it looks exactly like the Makeup Geek one, but I said just a little bit more peach. Some days I need gold, some days I need something a little bit more peach. So I guess we'll see when they're side by side here. You see that? Do you see the brown eyeshadow in there?
Dirty girl.
It's dirty. I'm so upset right now. Do they look the same?
Which ones?
These two? That one and that one? They look different?
Well, it looks like it has brown eyeshadow in it.
Shh. They're pretty similar, but you know, sometimes you have a peach day, sometimes you have a gold day. The next color, we're kind of going into our deep brown crease colors. This one is Mocha from Geek. This one is Mocha from Makeup Geek right here. Just a really pretty, like, compared to the other ones, it looks like a very neutral, dark, medium to dark brown. This one's just kind of like, you know, you gotta have a dark brown. You gotta have a neutral dark brown. Next shade I have is this one, which is from Anastasia Beverly Hills. This color is rich brown. We're going through the browns right now. This one I feel like has a lot more of like charcoaly black in it. It's not like a black brown, but it's like a really deep charcoaly ashy brown. I really want to say it's an ashy brown. This is the color that I use if I really want to smudge close to the lower lash line without using black eyeshadow. Or I use this shadow a lot to do like a smoked out wing liner if I don't want to do an intense black wing. And this one blends out really well, really pretty deep, deep brown shade. So you'll see it right here next to a Mocha. Okay, so I can't fit the rest of the shadows on my hand, but I do want to show you what the other two browns look like next to the browns that I have on my hand. So I'm gonna add a little bit more primer. The other two browns I have in this palette are these two shades right here. This one is my newest addition to my Life palette, which I'm really excited about. This is the new Anastasia Beverly Hills eyeshadow in the color Fudge. This one has a lot more warmth to it, especially compared to this ashy ass one. And then this one is more of like a neutral brown. This one just has a lot of warmth. It kind of just reminds you of Fudge. This one I used the other day. It blends out really nicely. Very pretty color. I mean, I feel like I can never have too many dark brown shadows. That's just kind of how I live my life. I don't know what shape I'm making right now. I'm kind of swatching it on like a weird part of my hand, so it looks a little interesting. But I think you can kind of see it, right? You can see it's got a little bit more warmth to it. I really did a bad job on that one though, I'm sorry. It's an interesting swatch. Next brown shadow that I have is this big square one in here. And this one, this has been my favorite brown eyeshadow since the beginning of time. Well, since I bought it actually a few years ago. Surprised I haven't hit pan on it yet, but this is a NARS eyeshadow in the color Galapagos. And it's so funny because somebody actually tweeted me the other day and they said, do you and Galapagos like ever hang out anymore? And I was like, yeah, we're actually having a lovely evening together tonight. I decided to stop. I was using it so often in every video, every tutorial that I did, that I challenged myself to stop using it in tutorials, but I still use it all the time. It's one of my favorite dark brown shadows. It does have little gold specks in it, which at first I thought I would hate, but I don't really even notice when it's on my eyes. But you can see it's got a little bit of that gold reflection in it. Do you see that? Well, I can't.
It's military print.
Shut up. Even when I swatched it, I could just feel how creamy it was. And this one, I mean, it blends out so well, and you can just see it has that nice, pretty like gold reflection in it. But once you start blending it, the gold kind of goes away, which I'm all right with. I'm okay with it. So the next row is more of like my soft kind of daytime shades. The first one right here is called Metal. Well, I guess except for this one. This one is from Anastasia as well. This is one of their titanium formula eyeshadows. I love the color of the shadow. I think it's because it's not like a pure silver. I don't really like to wear like silver eyeshadows. I think it's very like harsh. But this one has like a hint of, I don't know if I want to say like taupe or like beige almost, but it takes like the harshness out of the silver. It's badass, huh? I just fucking like it. All right. The first one is Birkin. This one's just a very subtle mauve, pinky mauve eyeshadow shade. If I saw this by itself, honestly, I probably wouldn't be that into it, but I just love the way that it applies. You can't really see it on my finger, but I think when I put it like on my eyes, it just adds like a nice, healthy looking shade. It's a very mature color. Maybe that's why I like it. Makes me look responsible. Next color I have right here, this one is called Dayrate. Rate with a T, the letter T, okay? This one I like to use with Birkin. I just think they go together so perfectly. Dayrate has a little bit more of like a pinky, a little bit more pinky and a little bit more dusty, and it's a little bit lighter. But I love to use these two together. This color I think is really pretty, especially if you want to use it to buff out Birkin. Next color I have in here is called Creme. And Creme is another color that I would use on my lid, something to really brighten up my lid if I am looking haggard or tired and I just want something to brighten up my eyes. That's my go-to thing, is to add a brighter color to the lid. This one has a bit more of like a peachy kind of cream undertone to it and a little bit more peach in it than something like Blanc Type from MAC. Last two shades in here are brand new eyeshadows that just came out. I have a feeling I needed them in my Life palette, so I just kind of threw them in here. So these are the two new titanium finish eyeshadows from Anastasia. This one is called Brownie. Yeah, Brownie, and then this one is called Henna. They're both really cool colors. So here's Brownie. Yes, girl. Whoa. I would eat that brownie. Just smash that all over your lid and you got yourself a party. Next color is Henna. Really pretty, like, shade, you know? Is it red? Would you call it red? Earthy. Also swatches really nicely. This one swatches, I mean, look at that. Whoa. Nicely too. There's a hole.
Where?
In my lipstick. Do you see it?
Yeah.
Why didn't you tell me? All right, so those are all of my eyeshadows, and I think you guys can understand and see why I love all of those colors so much. It's taken me a really long time, actually, to like curate my perfect palette. Anyway, so now I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the face stuff that I have in here, which is actually pretty hard to narrow down to. So I'm gonna show you first the blushes in here. So I have, I'll start here. This is Smitten from Makeup Geek, which by the way, I really, really love the Makeup Geek blushes. This one is just a very soft kind of peachy, neutral kind of blush. And you know, I'm not gonna lie, I don't really like to swatch blushes. I feel like it's really hard to tell. It's like, I can't really understand what a blush is gonna look like on my face when I swatch it. Anyway. So here is Smitten. So this first one right here is Sincere, and this one is by MAC. I do think that MAC still has like my favorite blushes. I wish I had all of them, but I don't. I used to wear Cubic and Buff a lot from MAC, and now I'm kind of switched over to Sincere, which has a little bit more pigmentation to it. And this has become one of my kind of like daily shades now. So here's the Sincere blush on the bottom. You can tell it's a lot deeper than the Smitten one. Next blush I have in here is Infatuation from Makeup Geek. I love this blush. It's like the perfect, I think, in my opinion, holiday blush. I love it. The only thing that's like a little different, it's just different, I guess, than applying like a MAC blush, is when I put my brush into the Infatuation, it picks up so much product. I actually have to like tap it off before I put it on, or else it's like I will have really bold, bright cheeks. That could just be because of the brush that I use. It has kind of like stiff hairs on it. But I love this color. I think it's so pretty. And it goes with a lot of different eyeshadow looks too. So the next shade in here, this one in the center, this is called Shadester from MAC. Shadester. I'm pretty sure this is one of their pro colors. This is a much warmer, kind of deeper contour color than what I would typically use. So when I bought it a few years ago, I actually didn't even touch it for like a long time because it was just too deep for me. But sometimes what I do is I use it to deepen up or even add more of like a bronzy finish to my blush. So with a really light hand, I'll add it, dust it on top of whatever blush color I'm wearing. That's definitely something I do when I'm more tan, or like when I was in Turks and Caicos, I did that a lot. Specifically with this blush right here, and this, well, let me just show you what this one looks like. I'm just gonna show you on the back of my finger. It's just a very warm, kind of bronzy contour shade. The orange that you see right there, that is actually a highlight color from Anastasia Beverly Hills, right? This is a highlight. Yeah, highlighter. But I saw on one of Kylie Jenner's makeup videos, Harush, who does her makeup, she actually put this highlighter on her cheeks and then put a bronzer on top of it to kind of tone it down. And it looked so pretty. So I did that a few times. It's very easy to apply too much orange though, especially if you have more fair skin like I do. It's a very like, it's like a pumpkin-y orange, like a burnt orange. Let me swatch that one. Huh?
Give a name.
L'orange. L'orange. So there's what it looks like swatched by itself, and you can see it's like really, really pigmented. It's very bold. So you want to be careful if you're using that on your cheeks. I don't use this color too terribly often, but I've done it a few times and it's really pretty. Lastly, what I have in here is a highlight setting powder. This is the OFRA Cosmetics Banana Powder, and this is what I've been using lately around my highlight region after I set my under eyes with either the Laura Mercier powder or my Ben Nye Cameo powder. So this is what I use if I want to brighten up or if I want like a really intense, like bold highlight area. A lot of people use like a soft yellow brightening powder. This one is super fine. It's really soft. It's not chalky at all, and it just looks really pretty on the skin. Okay, so that is all of the swatches of everything that I have in my go-to palette, my Life palette. So you guys can kind of see what my color palette is. I mean, obviously you guys see my makeup all the time, but you definitely know what I need to have with me at all times. So if you guys think I'm missing anything in here, shades that you would recommend, please let me know in the comments down below. Also, let me know what you thought of this kind of video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it, and thank you so much for watching. Okay, so here is the Galapagos. You see that? Let's bring it in, John. Oh. Got some Americano on Zoe. And then I'm just gonna go up here. Zoe. Actually, I really like it. Oh, thank you, John.
It is.
Zoe! Zoe looks really depressed. You always look so depressed when I'm filming. Hey guys! Zoe's actually gonna be swatching for you guys too. What? What'd you say, Zoe? Okay, she's actually not gonna be swatching today, but she'll be here